Well, everybody, welcome back as we have one more match to go through. And, well, I'll tell you, it should be a great one. Colorado Black going up against Cal State Long Beach Black. Both teams undefeated. Number 14, Colorado Black. Number 6, Cal State Long Beach Black. Should be a pretty good one here for us, Cambert. Both teams looking really strong. A lot of people had, I would say, been sleeping on Colorado Black. It wasn't until this last kind of rankings that they started to really kind of boost up the rankings where I think they probably should be. But a tough opponent in front of them here.
Yeah, these are the real big dogs now. We've had a couple great matches so far tonight. I think this one has to fall in suit. And you mentioned, Colorado starting to vouch for themselves, make a name in the power rankings, but really CSULB are going to be the team to beat right now. You look at the kill-death ratios, everybody above a 2 right now in hardpoint. They play with such veracity. It's really going to be Colorado trying to answer to that pace. And it's not an easy thing to do. We'll have to pay attention to it once the hard point starts, the rotations. You have to think ULB will be the ones kind of on the front foot. How can Colorado answer? Can they try to think that extra step ahead? I guess that's the question they're going to have to try to answer here. It's going to be Moscow to start on the first 2. So they'll get their chance to test out Mother Russia.
Indeed they will. It's only been a single map loss, by the way, for Cal State Long Beach overall. That was a search and destroy that they dropped to, I believe, Arizona State Maroon, I should say. And then on the other side for Colorado, again, only dropping 3 maps, at least that have been recorded so far, 1 in each of the different modes. So both teams should be pretty evenly matched overall. But the big differential that I'm kind of looking at here when it comes to potential favor, you take both teams, when you look at them specifically on hardpoint, on average, Cal State Long Beach Black is winning by almost 170 points.
Yeah, that should be a big red flag right there if you're Colorado. And then, I think to look at it the other side, again, from Colorado's perspective, Apocalypse has to be the player you're looking at. Your assault rifle player was a 2+ KD, uses that crazy sight, that crazy red dot on his Krig. We'll have to be paying attention to him. He's going to have a big one, try to find some space for his submachine gun players to operate on the map. But you're absolutely right, Alan. It's just there's a lot to mount up against here for Cal State. You have to think the moment. I feel like just the way they play this hard point, they're going to be moving so much faster than Colorado. It's really going to be tough. But that's going to be the key, just having that extra thought in mind, thinking that extra step ahead to put your rotations in place. Somebody has to be the one paying attention to it, calling it out. Small talk, going to be huge for Colorado. Everything really has to kind of be perfect here if you want to get this upset win.
Well, here's the kind of good news, I would say, for Colorado Black. We mentioned the fact that they've only dropped 3 single maps. 2 of them were to Arizona early on in the season. They've been perfect so far in the second split. And that does include a 3-0 victory versus Oregon Green and a 3-0 victory versus teams like Grossmont and Grand Canyon Purple. So, hey, they're playing really good Call of Duty as of late. Now, granted, the Pacific Division is a little bit all over the place. Obviously, it's very heavy loaded at the top with these 2 squads. And then below them, kind of a hogwash when it comes to who's going to be the next one up. Standings-wise, you're looking at Oregon Green, but they've been kind of a mixed bag lately. Arizona State Maroon, kind of the same situation. A lot of expectations for Arizona coming in, but they're currently on the outside looking in for the top 4 overall in the Pacific Division. And the reason why I harp on that is the fact that, hey, that is what guarantees you playoffs out of the Pacific Division. So for these 2 teams, yeah, good to go. Pretty much, obviously, no real question that they're going to be in the top 2 when it comes down to them making it into the playoffs. I think for me, it just comes down to looking at them beyond just their region. When we start looking at playoffs specifically, number 14, number 6, are we underranking maybe either of them, or maybe we're overvaluing some of them? That's kind of where I think the conversation with this match really lives.
Yeah, absolutely. It becomes now a point of pride. Sure, you're both going to fall in the first and second slot of this division, but like you said, when you start to play some teams out of the division, how do they see you going into that match? I think when we compare it to the CDL, when you're playing Atlanta FaZe, you're probably going to be a little more tentative in a lot of those gunfights because they're undefeated. They're the team to beat. So if you can really make a name for yourself, kind of have that target on your back, you can use it in a lot of ways to scare your opponents when they come up against you. They're going to be obviously thinking a lot more about it, preparing a lot more for it. So really right now, both these teams just really trying to make a name in the top of the standings, be that dominant squad, playing for pride, obviously, as well as the seeding. That's definitely really important, but both should have that bye once we make it to postseason play. As we jump into map 1, we'll see which team can be the alpha dog here in this division.
And you got to keep your eye, I think, from CSULB Black on Zuri. He is number 11 on hardpoint overall KD in the CCL. Definitely a player you want to try to shut down. And then beyond that, you still have players like Bolt and Afro who also are in the top 30. So it doesn't get easier, no matter what way you slice the pie. And, well, initial engagement will favor that of CSULB Black, but it's actually going to be Colorado Black, with a play through the back, allowing them to actually immediately flip around these spawns.
Jugster, yeah, that's a huge play right there. You mentioned Zuri, and It really feels like these flex players with the QBZ all of a sudden are the ones having the biggest impact every single map. Is all of a sudden, although Jugster's able to get that positioning, you got number 2 there and Bolt trying to regain it. As Nerf fights for this time, it's going to be about 20 plus seconds going to Colorado, but Bolt in the back finding a huge kill there to regain spawns for his team, maybe, as number 5 now tries to fight for it again. It's so important to have these rotations. Jugster still trying to hide out back here as we start to make this rotation over to P2. We'll see which team can get the favorable spawn. Looks like for now it's going to be Cal State.
This is going to be really interesting, though, because Jugster is going to be able to slip behind Bolt, but will he gain enough space to actually win spawn? So that will be yet determined, depending on what happens to the gunfights right in front of him. Norte good for one. Apocalypse, another clean stuff from the Buffaloes so far. Hold your phones. Afro's trying to play around the back. Oh, he almost gets turned on, but everything will come to a bit of a calm here as the Buffaloes will regain the hard point and still hold the numbers for this next attempt from CSULB.
And we knew it would be important for Colorado Black to have that extra step in the back of their mind when it comes to rotations. They were the ones who were thinking more about P2. It's going to favor them here as it kind of gets pretty scrappy. Both teams fighting back and forth. Jugster will fall as well. And that's not going to be good either because you don't want to be the team spawning at old. It's going to be Colorado doing that. The rotation good for Cal State. They're going to have one player to deal with if they can get it, but still 15 seconds going to go to Colorado. This is overall a great start to the game. Now, how are you with your break? Can you get past these players trying to cut you off? Flamma finds one. Jugster up next here trying to push through gold.
Long Beach Black are very invested into the middle of the map right now. Jugster really has to be forced to play deep through Bank. This is a long rotation. Big 1v1 right through the doorways by the gold alley. Will be won by Afro, so still mid-map pressure from LB Black. Very good, but now the break attempt on the way. You see number 5 in Jugster. He's blocked the spawns in the back. Attempt now for the Buffaloes to try to work their way in. They've already done well to get Long Beach off the hard point for now. Just comes down to, can they find this final member of Bolt? And they will. So the break attempt is good, and it happens 25 seconds into the hard point.
Yeah, whether Jugster meant to do that or not, it was absolutely crucial because those first 2 kills would have meant nothing if the spawn stayed close. Instead, they spawned deep, but now here comes Long Beach. Right after that, they answer. They get back onto the point. Still only 20 seconds that you're going to be gathering here. You got to start to focus towards the street hill. Let's see if Colorado can hang on to the positioning they have right now. Is 2 huge kills there for Long Beach. They're going to be the ones able to flood in through this gold area where you can kind of set up a pinch. They see it now. Nobody home. They have full control of this. It's going to be Colorado again on the back foot.
It's not bad overall for Colorado considering the circumstances. You framed it up. The fact that they were spawning all the way back by P2 with only about 5 seconds left in the hard point meant that the stretch to get across the third hill was going to be hard pressed. So the fact that they essentially go 30-30 when it comes to that third hard point is not bad. But again, first rotation will be likely decide what happens here on the fourth. Good kills so far. Afro on 3 does get figured out in the small room. And that will mean that for the Buffaloes, everything's good. I mean, it's contest heavy. You have an opportunity here for LB Black to still break in, but they're not really finding a lot of room to work with.
Seems like plenty of information right now as well. Apocalypse knowing that these players are coming through, but a nice team shot there to break that player off of the rat hole. And all of a sudden, it just becomes a stalemate, a crossfire down here. ARs looking over each other. Norte with 2 huge ones. Watching these players spawn up. That's going to be good for some time here for Colorado, though, as they try to extend this lead. Rotations again. Big kills coming through. Afro there with 2 huge ones to kind of slow things down a little bit, find some breathing air for his team.
Oh, you got to look at Flamma number 3 here. He has to win not just one, but read the second. And, well, he does pretty much exactly that as I mentioned it. So now Zuri in the back will be trying to play for spawns while the rest of his teammates focus on the middle metro. Everything turning up positively for Long Beach. Afro the next one up. Norte trying to get a little bit finessey as he tries to go prone. Jugster will take good on the kill. And now again, the Buffaloes work their way in. A clean break so far. Even trades. Flamma trying to work his way forward. Able to turn the tides. Not quite enough. Norte has the last laugh. Buffaloes will still be spawning out, but an opportunity to reinforce and really put some pressure down on Long Beach.
Yeah, they're going to try to flood on in here and get this final kill onto Afro. That's huge, but Bolt's in a big spot. He's going to fall as well. This is the opening that Colorado's looking for. One more player to deal with here. And Zuri, can you get past him if you're nerfed? Low health. Going to get the regen as this player backs up Zuri. That's a smart move. Knows that these spawns are so important for his team. Finding the first. The second's there as well into nerf. That's huge plays out of Zuri right there. 14-9. Starting up a little bit of a streak, but most importantly, he's going to hang on to these spawns for his team. And they're the ones trying to make the comeback right now. It's been all Colorado to start. Doesn't get much easier here, though, as all of a sudden spawns in favor of Long Beach.
And this is a smart rotation for Colorado. Give up the middle of the map. Try to play through the apartments. If you can get far enough forward in this apartment building, you can block the spawn. Zuri trying to throw shoulders. Does not expect Nerf to be as close as he was. That'll be good for a first kill. Where does he spawn? There it is. Out by escalators, number 1. So an opportunity again for the Buffaloes to put some early pressure down, but Flamma stays alive on top of the tree. Now Bolt up top, finds one, does get stuck from nowhere though, so the trades are decent for the Buffaloes, and Norte again, he holds strong as the last Buffalo player alive. He'll eventually fall, but he's won the spawns, and eventually our team in yellow, they will overwhelm and take what looks to be the back 20 seconds.
Yeah, they'll get this 20 seconds, but now all of a sudden you got to turn your focus right away to this rotation. Nerf is kind of getting out ahead here, but he's going to turn back for the reach-out. Probably a bad decision as Zuri finds that kill. That'll slow things down, but how about the spawn coming through here? No, it's not going to work out so much. Colorado spawning so far out here at P2. They're going to have to make another long run. One player here at number 7 trying to make something happen. But again, to P3, it's the rotation for Long Beach. They did it last time. They do it here again. How long can they hold on to it? Because it was Colorado able to make a break last time around.
Oh, Afro falling is massive. Watch the flood come through, or should I say the stampede come through for the Buffalo. 3 players coming right through elbow immediately. Apocalypse will fall. Bolty will also help out, and that'll be 3 down quickly. Guess my Wild West reference will be shut down, at least for now.
Yeah, I see what you did there. I like that a lot. And all of a sudden, Colorado have let this lead slip away from them. It's really been Long Beach kind of getting these rotations down. They've been able to put a setup together, making it so tough to break here on P3. Flamma finding another there as his teammates look over the top. Should probably want to get back onto this time. Knows Apocalypse is there. More team support. As again, we go over to P4, and it hasn't really gone too heavily in either team's favor. For Colorado, it was a great start to this game, but all of a sudden, here come Long Beach. They're right back into this one. You know they're going to have the composure with how well they've played all season long.
You just kind of wonder at what point was this game going to turn around, because I didn't mention it, but through the first rotation and a half that we've had so far, Cal State Long Beach has been way outslaying Colorado. It's just been the simple fact that, I mean, look at the kills that are turning into hardpoint time for Colorado. You've got 1:30 for Apocalypse, nearly 45 plus seconds for 2 other members on the Buffaloes. So the fact of the matter is, they're just doing a better job inside the hardpoint. And you're seeing that come to fruition, even in the face of Long Beach eliminations. Now, an opportunity to really kind of not just reduce the deficit, but potentially retake the lead here for Colorado, as Long Beach are going to take a long rotation through gold.
Norte has been huge on this street hill as well, finding kills with his Krig while being on the time, like you say. And here's that crazy red sight for Apocalypse. This player climbs up in a rat. It's going to be a big kill to find as we find ourselves deadlocked in this game. We get ready for another set of rotations. You're right, Alan. It's really just been Colorado who have rotated a little bit better, find themselves in the hill more, but the slaying power so heavily in Long Beach's side, and that really feels like in the end it's going to be the deciding factor. If Colorado can't start to find more of these kills, it feels like this is Long Beach's match to win. Right now, they got the setup in place for the next one. They also have spawns for P2. Starting to be a hinging point right now, it feels like, if Colorado can't answer back.
Oh, and I've never seen it before, but Jugster spawns back right street. So now an opportunity for the Buffaloes to pinch the hard point and potentially win the second hard point spawns, which they're going to do because Jugster just plays a credit corner waiting for someone to come around. So now an opportunity. Colorado, they're going to tie this game, potentially retake the lead depending on how these last 35 seconds go. But more importantly, as we get to the late stages of this hard point, they are the favorite setup right now for P2, where they could win the game technically.
Yeah, I said it was a hinging point. I felt like for Long Beach, where they were about to explode and take over the game, but instead Colorado at the final moment able to turn things back around. They get the P2 spawns that we talk about so often, so important. And that player in the top of the police station is going to be in a big spot as well, trying to hold things down. Once we make this rotation, they're going to be able to just sacrifice this final 10 seconds. They're fine with that. We know we have our hold down here for P2. They're going to need a solid one here for Colorado Black to retake the lead.
Big first kill for Nerf. Also, does he recognize that Zuri's playing around the backside? Sure seems to. Comes away with the SMG. The shot punch is good. 207 is where it stops for Long Beach. Over 200 go the Buffaloes. Next attempt for Long Beach, largely focused in the middle of the map, but Jugster is here to meet it. And beyond that, deny it. An opportunity here for Colorado to really put themselves in a favorable spot. Neither team can win it anymore on the second hard point, but yet to be determined is what's going to happen with the back 33 seconds. And Long Beach with the kills finally coming through, spawn Colorado out, and a chance to put them close to the win condition.
And that extra little bit of a lead they built up on P1 is actually going to help them here. As they find this final 30 seconds, it's going to put them even closer to a win. For Colorado, sure, you're going to put your rotation in and you're going to have to do it, but it's going to make things even more difficult because this final 12 seconds is going to make it so close for Long Beach. You're really putting a lot of value into this rotation. You have to hold it together here if you're Colorado. You have it right now, but how well can you hold it down?
I was really kind of hoping here for Long Beach that they would do kind of what the Subliners did from a week or so ago. where they just gave up that scrap time at P2 in order to try to win the 50-50 rotation with numbers to get over to the third hardpoint, but it may not make much of a difference. Jugster is the only defensive Buffalo remaining in the middle of the map. He's going to have to go absolutely Goliath mode. Bolt making his way forward, not going to get the full snap on as Nerf is able to help out with a Semtex. So 242 is now where it stops for Long Beach. The kill's looking good for Colorado Black. Next attempt for Long Beach. They still have time to play with, but it has to be convincing, whatever this next hit is going to be, and so far, not so good. Zuri all the way in the back. Nerf drops, so there should be information for Colorado that they are going to start to spawn out, but here comes the pinch play from around the back. Bolt is here as well for it. It goes 1 for 1. Not enough for either team to definitively win this hard point. 245 to 242. Afro getting aggressive. He's not going to be able to fully get there. Flabba also falls. Still enough time here for Colorado to strike first. Zuri over the top of the banister. Can he get there in time? No! Colorado Black strike first on the Moscow hard point with an 8-point win.
Oh my. I mean, you talk about how much you have to sacrifice by giving up that time at P2 to put your setup down at P3. It's exactly what Colorado does, and it pays off in the end. They're able to hold on strong here in the final moments. Jugster with a big kill. It was Zuri there. You had to wonder when that long route would come through for Long Beach. It was just a little too late at the final moment. He does get in through the back end, but Colorado able to turn back around with a 180. They pick up that kill on Zuri, and it's enough to get them those final moments on the hill. I mean, you couldn't have drawn it up any closer than that for Long Beach. It felt like they were so close in those final moments, but a couple big kills there from Colorado Black was all it took. And we're headed to map 2. Black in the lead unexpectedly.
It says a lot, I think, for Colorado Black to come away with a win like that, in which through that first really 2 rotations, they were getting outgunned flat out. But it doesn't make much of a difference because their efficiency on the rotation and on the hard point specifically was just much better than what we saw from Long Beach. It's one of those things that when we kind of see the conversation unfold, when we're talking about the top of the CCL, challengers, CDL, are your kills amounting to actual map pressure? And at the end of the day, through those first 2 rotations, it wasn't for Long Beach Black. A lot of the rotation was determined by what Colorado wanted to do. And because they were the ones always putting that proactive pressure down, it was Long Beach finding kills, but in responding fashion to where the spawns were already blocked, for instance, or more often than not, already flipped around. So good objective pressure from Colorado Black, allowing them to get that marginal 8-point win. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and it's like the old school way to win it if you're Colorado Black. You got to really appreciate it because, yeah, so often the focus is on how good are you at shooting your gun and moving, and that's
right.
Sure maybe what shows your talent. But how well do you know the map? How well are you able to rotate? What kind of a team player are you? Right there, Colorado putting the teamwork to effect. That's what gets them the win, and that's what I think makes it so impressive. When I talked about how I thought Long Beach would be the ones with the rotations, but no. Sure, they had the slaying power. Colorado were the ones managing the map better, and it pays off for them in the end. They get the win. It's so crazy there when it gets to P2. You have to make that decision. Do we rotate? Do we play for this final time to not let Long Beach get so close to a win? Colorado put a lot of value into their setup, and it worked out for them in the end. That's just a big decision you have to make. Pays off for him, though, in a big way.
The other interesting point, we framed it up, 170-point average that Long Beach was winning their hard points by. As we look at the differentials, because it's hard to determine it off of just win-losses and hard point search and control, because both teams have been incredible. But if you were to go off of the extra statistic of the differentials in each of these modes, Colorado has a more favorable win-loss differential on search and just barely a lesser favored one on control. On average, they're winning their search and destroys by 4 rounds. On control, they're winning on average by 2.5 rounds. It's really good for Colorado. So I don't want to put it out this way because it's hard for us to necessarily say, but if you're Long Beach, your win condition in this series may have been to win both hard points.
Yeah,
that's off the table now, Camber.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It feels like that is, although every mode has been great, you've only lost 1 map on the year. Hardpoint is your go-to mode. It feels like your fallback mode. And like you mentioned, both teams have been dominant all year. They're undefeated to this point, but it's really been Long Beach who have been more dominant in their margin of victory. To lose it in map 1 really has to be a bit of a wake-up call. Now, all of a sudden, you're really banking on your search and destroy. We'll head to Moscow again, which I guess, I think if I'm thinking of it, it might favor Long Beach, kind of more of a gun-heavy map where we just saw them win the slaying battle in map 1. But we've started to see how teams have evolved now with search and destroy on a lot of these maps, starting to play both bomb sites. So I think for Colorado Black, it's not necessarily one that you have to feel like you're completely the underdog. You can go to B now. Like teams have figured that out more. We'll have to see how much they're willing to do it. But I mean, it has to feel like for Long Beach, that was a huge loss in map 1, where all of a sudden you're kind of like, okay, guys, maybe we don't have this where we had it, where we thought we did.
Right. And I think just beyond that, that's got to be a frustrating loss for a team like Cal State Long Beach. I feel like there are some losses that are just like, okay, whatever. It happened. We got blown out. Hurts. Get rid of it. But when you're out slaying your opponent and you're not finding success on the objective, that gets frustrating because you've got members like Zuri who still almost pulled a 2.0 KD on the first map. And when you're pulling stats like that for the L, it could be really frustrating. So we'll see what happens here as we kind of refresh ourselves and come right back to Moscow. We'll just switch up the mode, and it's going to be the side of Long Beach on for the first offense. And well, you mentioned that this B bomb site has been a little bit more used, I would say, over the last couple of weeks. That looks to be where Long Beach want to start some of their focus. But Zuri, a little bit of trouble already with Flama as they're kind of stuck in the middle of the map, but no push through yet, at least for Colorado.
Yeah, we can kind of get to see just how shaken up Long Beach are by it, because I feel like, if you're going to A, you're probably a little more confident in your gun skill. You're just going to take the one-on-one fight. Instead, they opt to go for B first, more strategical, and it's going to be Colorado answering the call. Norte, huge first blood. Now, all of a sudden, the cross rotation, they go back to A, which could be a big move here. Are Colorado ready for it? Jumps their first one up. Going to find these 2 kills. A huge starting round here for Colorado Black. All down to Zuri, and it's going to be a long, long way to go.
Yeah, really good stuff right there for Colorado Black. I think a lot of it is just the fact that they were able to read that there is a heavy stack for Long Beach in the middle of the map, and they say, we're not interested in taking that fight. Let's make them make the next move. And it ends up in a very favorable exchange, as you obviously could see. Zuri trying to give himself a little bit of assistance with the Semtex, but the Stampede is back and it's alive. Colorado just overwhelmed when they take the first round.
This is just such a huge map, too. It feels like Long Beach felt like they were going to win map 1. Now, all of a sudden, you have to win map 2. If Colorado's able to take this one, all of a sudden, it's not looking so good for your undefeated team in Long Beach. Big first round to start. Take it on defense. Now we go to offense, see what Colorado have up their sleeve. Do they want to go to A and kind of take things face to face, or do they try to play it a little more methodically and head to B?
All right, let's see what happens here. Jugster, SMG in hand to start. Looks like he's going to stick with this. Apocalypse is going to be watching above him, and the other 2 members of the map just looking for information, very passively, mind you. Norte through the middle of the map has said that, no, nothing has come this direction. A lot of nades are being tossed out late, and I have to imagine most of that is from Long Beach. So no information really from either side as we have still 60 seconds to play.
Yeah, it gets to that point where first blood, so important. Norte going to find it with his nade, so things kind of open up a little bit more on the map, and you still haven't decided on which bomb site you want to go to. You still have an opportunity to switch things up. That's what Colorado's going to do. They're going to go to A now. They have the life advantage over here. They get that player in Zuri, who was really the only player home. Afro trying to come back in, is going to find one, but you have to hope the trade could be there. If you're Colorado, it's not, because Norte falls as well. Huge plays out of Afro to draw this all even. Apocalypse, though, sneaking around from the backside as Nerf finds one. He should have an opportunity to get the second. Becomes a 1v1 situation. Bolt rotating back. The shots come through, and the crazy red dot sight is good enough to find 2 straight rounds for Colorado Black. Win a defense. Now you win an offense, and it felt like for Afro this play was enough to kind of bring his team back in it. But huge plays, life advantage in favor of Colorado, and it worked out for him.
And beyond that, the fact that Nerf is allowed to find another elimination is, I would hesitate to say, a bit of a mistake. We didn't get to see it on screen, but there shouldn't be a world for Long Beach where you've gotten 2 kills, both of them around the bomb site. There's no need to overpeak anything at that point in time. So kind of putting themselves in too risky of a situation, and it leads to Colorado Black recovering, and then Apocalypse on the flank, easy kills. Now this time around, Long Beach going to make a play over towards A. Here's that double stack over through middle. Afro's going to see both players, and they are stuck in escalators right now. Good Semtex play from Zuri. Flama should know there's one more nearby. I would suggest that you just double chow this, but they're going to stun check it first. It will actually not connect, and fortunately, Zuri, who went in by himself, does win the gunfight. So Long Beach, they isolate, they get the 2 kills. Now they should have a pretty free A site overall, but Norte from the flank, able to find one. And that keeps things at least a little bit interesting.
Yeah, this is not an easy 1v3 by any means. Bomb going down. Position has been known. This Krig isn't going to make things any easier as well. First on a Flama is going to be good. The second player, though, he doesn't know his location. He knows where Bolt is. Doesn't know that this other player in Afro is hanging out by the wall. They're just going to play the buddy system here and try to look for the trade. And you really have to put a lot of focus here in towards the escalators. You might think he might rotate around, but Norte re-challenging here through the escalators. Still has some time to work with. Afro gonna come into his sights, big kill.
Yeah.
And it's really Afro at the start of that round, I think, that makes the biggest play. He gets that information on those players coming up the escalators for his teammates to get those kills with the submachine guns. That's what really kicks off the round. Without that information, I don't know that Long Beach have such an easy time to win it, but it comes up huge there in the end. They get their first round on the board.
Yeah, pick your POV, I think, largely. You're absolutely correct. Afro wins that round just by reading that information. But on the other side, that defensive setup is what I like to call that's what LAG runs. That's what the Guerrillas run on their defense for Moscow regularly. The 2-2 split, 2 players to the middle of the map. But the thing that the Guerrillas will do is they will shoulder check first to see if anyone's going to see them making that rotation. And then they'll commit if they need to. So maybe a bit over ambitious with Colorado Black with the double hit through mid. It's the second time we've seen them trying to make that play, though. So have to keep that in the back of our minds when they get back to defense. But for now, still in an advantage. And 3-man stacked over towards gold. Flama is not going to have a lot of help here on this aggressive angle that he's picked right underneath the gold window. So it's all going to be based off of timing. Can he find a first kill? Really, you're just hoping he goes 1 for 1.
Yeah, it's going to be so important for him to at least get one. As these players start to fire off, he's going to know their position. Now he comes in for the challenge. First on a Norte is there. You should know there's a second player here as Jugster tries to throw the pre-nade. Flama now with his challenge. Very low health here as he tries to pick up this kill. Jugster's able to trade it out, so they go 1 for 1. That's pretty favorable for Colorado. This round kind of resets a little bit here. They know the presence is at B. Zuri, that's a big kill to draw things in favor of his squad. All of a sudden, not a lot of time to work with here for Colorado Black.
And you got to grab the bomb as well. Bolt, although, what? I thought for sure he was going to hold on the trigger and have a free kill, but Apocalypse is able to respond. Finds elimination. 2v2 we go. You have to commit to B. The defense is here for CSU. Nerf, does he see Zuri in a corner? He does. Backs away. Has to stick for a plan, and as he does, Afro finds the kill. Not enough time for the play to come through, and Long Beach able to take back 2 rounds and tie things up at the same tally.
And I will say, although Long Beach wins the defense, that's huge to draw things even. It feels like, to me, for Colorado Black, the fact that they haven't gone to A just yet leaves that as an option if they want it. But also for the defense of Long Beach, it's like, we don't know. They haven't necessarily full blast decided on one of the bomb sites. So it kind of keeps them guessing. Kind of should pay off for Colorado as the game goes on. You have more versatility. You have more options on offense. I feel like that's pretty key right now for Long Beach. We'll see what they go with here. It feels like for them, the key to me, I feel like if I'm Long Beach, I'm just going to A every single time. You know you're the slaying heavy team. You should be able to win these gunfights. It's only going to be a 3-on-2. We'll see what happens.
What? One of those players is Jugster. He gets over to Bricks, but falls. Good AR presence from Bolt. Opportunity here coming through. They do pick up Norte in the middle. Oh, for a second, I thought Afro was about to just completely slaughter his teammate. And now the rotation is on. They're going to just bail out from A and make a play over to B. This is going to be known from Colorado. And with Apocalypse finding 1, nearly a second, that could have led to a very interesting 2v2 in the end. But the trades are still favorable, and now a post-plant setup can come into play for LB.
Yeah, huge that Nerf is at least able to find one of those kills with this QBZ. Going to rotate all the way around, and maybe this is the unexpected route to take. So that's, I guess, what you're banking on here if you're Nerf. Checking every corner so diligently, making sure that none of these players are camping out. He might have just laid eyes on a Bolt. Now he comes back for the re-challenge. The shots are going to be good. That's huge for Nerf to draw this even at 1 apiece. Doesn't know the positioning of this other player. Is going to rotate it around. It's Flama. Yeah. With time starting to tick away. Nerf has to make his move here, but they come into his sidelines. Oh, the gunfight in favor of Long Beach. Big shots there out of the AK-74U. Long Beach are going to win 3 straight to retake the lead.
Smart play from Flama, realistically. Just to kind of, you know where the kill came from. It's over by street. Put yourself in a corner to where you can watch him rotate over, and if you don't see the rotation, then you're good. You know that you should be coming from behind somewhere. Perfect read from Flama.
And I really like the changing up of the bomb sites, too, on this map. It really feels like one where you get a couple kills. The expectation of the defense is, oh, they got us at A. They're going to plant there. You saw in that last round, Long Beach able to rotate it over to B. It's unexpected. Although Apocalypse is in a good spot to find a couple kills, it works out for him in the end. You really see that a lot on this map, I feel like, where teams will show a presence at one site and then go to the other.
Good first blood for Jugster through Eskies. This is a heavy stack for both teams over towards the A site. Nice shots again from Jugster over the top, but gets aggressive, has to go to the pistol. Shut down, but Nerf is able to trade. It makes things down to a 1v1. Nerf versus Flama. And Nerf is playing pretty passively for now, but he should recognize that he's got some space to get a plant off. It just comes down to where does he want to go off the post-plant setup.
It was a quick start to the round, but this one really could start to draw itself out. As the bomb goes down, Flama thinking about making his push up through the escalators, and it's going to be a rotation from Nerf that could pay off dividends in the end. As he comes in from behind, You're going to read that Flama goes out to the left. Nobody on the bomb just yet, so it's probably smart here to just hide out and play those checks. Flama's going to be looking in every different corner to make sure Nerf isn't here. They're about to come into their sight lines. Is Nerf. This is perfect. This is the way you want to play it.
Just as good as Flama played the last round, Nerf has played this one maybe a little bit better. No chance anymore for the defuse. Flama getting a little bit too cute with it. Beautiful rotation. It's a risky one, right? I mean, Nerf, he plants, he grows all the way around the world. But when you make that play, especially when you hear that late Semtex came out, you should know that, okay, he's not on the bomb yet. You cleared the right, you know that he went left. Really good stuff right there from Nerf to fuck the round up.
Yeah, and you have to wonder, too, if he got the information that the push was coming from Flama through the top of escalators to follow him up there, he's not necessarily going to go back and check that location. So Nerf, yeah, really just good stuff. I mean, maybe he got that information, maybe he didn't, but either way, just to play the timeout like that is exactly what you want to do. Now we go to 3-3, and it felt like that was the first time we'd seen that original, that orthodox, just push both teams pushing A and killing each other at the start. It did get drawn out in the end. But that's usually how Moscow goes down in Search and Destroy, it feels like, with just like a team deathmatch with no respawns. We now go back to a little bit of a different setup here on offense for Long Beach.
Oh, Apocalypse misses out on a timing. Norte is now on an island by himself in front of Globe. He does go 1 for 1. That should be okay if you're Colorado, but the following kills for Long Beach are good to clear the middle of the map. 3v2 situation, now the take on the way in. Afro able to catch just the shoulder of APOC. That'll be good for the kill. Leaving things once again to Nerf, 1v2 situation, and the bomb's going to flip back to A.
Again, this rotation at the final moment is going to be huge for Long Beach. Colorado Black, you're just not expecting it. I mean, you just know that this player has to be home with B, so go over to A where nobody's there. You can get the bomb down. You can get a setup. Probably going to play this buddy system again, make sure the trades are going to be there as they both just kind of hunker down by that brick wall. We'll see what Nerf has here. At least he's got the QBZ in case it comes down to winning a gunfight on a heady. He comes over to it here. Bolt's going to be there. Shots are going to reveal his position. Not able to grab the kill. Makes things even more difficult. But now the re-challenge is good. Might have laid eyes under that second player. Instead, he's going to go for the defuse.
I love it.
No way, Afro. Do not let this happen right now. It's coming through. It's so
He's going to let it happen.
The job. Oh! Barely going to get the kill in time. And it felt like for a second the miracle play might happen. Afro, just in the final waning moments, going to check the bomb. Big time stuff. He's so close for Nerf.
Afro's not going to realize how close that really was. Oh my goodness. Literally fractions of a second, but CSULB, they won't know it. No sweat off the back. They clutched. Everyone's saying, nice play, Afro. Well done. It's 11-4 overall anyways. And now a chance to possibly put this to a 5-3 if you get the defense, and it's going to be a 3-man stack through the middle at A. And this is read by Norte. He's going to see both those players move over to Eskies, and one more. Jugster should be able to come along the back for a free kill. He is. Why would you stay there, though? Just take your win and go B. Oh, what a mistake.
Oh, I got my hands on my head. That is so tough right there if you're Jugster. Have the bomb, and you're going to drop it in the middle of the map. Now Norte is forced to move forward. He's going to go down as well. Colorado Black, just that one moment that changes everything, as now it goes to a 3v2. You still have these players hunkered down together, trying to make something happen. The dual assault rifle combo. Apocalypse laying down some shots, but this is just going to be a tough one for Colorado. His Nerf goes down all up to Apocalypse here with the Krig, and the bomb still down in mid is not going to be favorable.
Now this round's over. That's going to hurt a lot. I mean, you get the read off of Norte. 2 members for LB made a play up Eskies. You get the information that a third is also in middle. Do we really think the A site is complete? I mean, it's just too greedy. Get your kill, back up, overwhelm the B site. Even if the last member that you haven't accounted for is there, you just simply win the trade. You get the bomb planted. You have a 3v3 post plant. That is a crucial mistake from Jugster.
Yeah, and it was on the other side where we saw Afro gain that information. It was in a different scenario, but like when you get that kind of information at the start of a round, it really feels like one you should win on offense. There was nobody home at B. Colorado had it for the taking. Jugster just tries to bite off a little more than he can chew there. I guess he's just trying to see if somebody's fast flanking down escalators or something, but I mean, like we're saying, you have the bomb, you got to just go over to B, and it's probably one they'll look back on and not too fondly, but still, back against the wall, the game goes on. You're back on defense here. A big opportunity to extend it, at least, as all of a sudden the quick rotation from A to B coming through for Long Beach. See how Colorado reacts.
This is difficult. APOC again on his own, on an island. He needs some help, but there's not going to be enough help here. Norte from the middle of the map also drops. CSULB have completely opened up the B site with those 2 kills. Nerf, though, middle of the map, able to just barely find the bomb carrier. That will slow things down. And Jugster, meanwhile, off screen inside the B site itself, has found a second. Heck of a recovery and still an opportunity to clutch up this 2v2.
Wow, yeah, it felt like this was a runaway train for Long Beach in this round, but all of a sudden, Colorado Black able to find 2, and the bomb's so small in this game, it's so difficult to see if it's down, but if Nerf has that information, it could come in very, very valuable as these 2 players stack up by B to try to play these kills. It's starting to dwindle down. Zuri realizing he's got to make a grab here as he jumps out and scoops it up. Nobody going to be there to challenge. Will they go back to B? Will they make another cross-map rotation? Not enough time to go to A. As Nerf gets one last check, he knows that the push is going to be to B, so him and his teammate Jugs here are going to try to set something up on a post plant as Zuri gets it down.
He sees the cross. Does Zuri see the same information, though, is the real question. Oh, he finds the first kill. Now all of a sudden, Bolt is stuck inside a long range. Here's the double kill. He finds one. He gets the second. Unbelievable fortune that the last player walked in front of his line of sight. What an amazing clutch. We'll see it one more time with a little bit of added slow-mo.
I don't know if that's like some kind of aim assist glitch. That was insanity. And if that's timed even just slightly differently, you have to wonder if that changes things. And I mean, I think overall, the biggest thing I take away from that, like Long Beach, just it feels like they're an extra bit advanced with their play on Search and Destroy. Those rotations in the middle of rounds are really what keeps Colorado guessing. It feels like those are kind of the plays that make the biggest difference to me. I mean, sure, once you get some control at one of the bomb sites, you might think, oh, now it's time to plant. But Long Beach really, really taking advantage of the cross-map rotations. It pays off huge, but that final play at the end also, I don't really know that should happen. There was some mistakes, too, for Colorado Black, some that I'm sure they'd like to have back. But either way, Long Beach get the needed answer from map 1. Now we head to map 3, but that's going to be huge for them.
If only just barely get the answer. My goodness. I don't even know where to start. So we won't start. We'll go into the next thing. We've got 3 instances of raid waiting for us here for the control, the second hardpoint, and the potential second search and destroy if required. Going to the control coming up next. Again, we mentioned the fact that both these teams have been flawless essentially throughout the entirety of this season. Colorado Black has, again, suffered 1 map loss here. Not the end of the world. They're differential when it comes to what they average on average they score versus what on average they give up. Just as good as what we've seen from Cal State Long Beach. So as we move into the conversation pool here, I think the big thing that I'm looking at here, Cam, is the fact that we need to see Long Beach use kills to influence the objective in some way. That was what they were missing in the Moscow hardpoint. You cannot afford to have that happen here on raid control.
Yeah, and you talked about the frustration. It's like, oh, I'm getting all the kills. Why is nobody on the point to soak up the time? It's like, well, you're getting all the kills. Why don't you get on the point to soak up the time? So it really can kind of start this internal feud between your teammates. You have to hope that doesn't happen. Obviously, Long Beach were able to get things together in that map. But I really still feel like they're favored in these respawn modes. Like the slaying power is even more important in control when the live starts to become that much more important as well. Raid going to be a map where we just saw them switching up from A to B on Search and Destroy. They can do that again here in control. It feels like they can kind of switch the map on its head at the flip of a finger. So I'm favoring Long Beach, even though they lose map 1. It feels like they grab some momentum back there in the Search and Destroy. I think they're going to be solid here in the control. And overall, that slaying power is really now it's going to favor them as we go into the control. They don't need to the objective as much.
Right. Again, the simple fact of the matter is that lives and slaying potential leads to a potential win condition overall because we're in control. So, no, it's a very fair assessment. It just comes down to, at the end of the day, though, I mean, let's be honest. I could see a world where Colorado, even if they're not finding favorable kills, if they're able to just overwhelm the objective and find more efficiency there's still win conditions involved, especially considering the fact that raid control, as we all know, does lead to a more offensive favored rounds than our other 2 maps that are in the pool. But we are loading on in. So any last thoughts before we come to get the action on screen?
No, I think it's kind of the same thing I was just saying too, where raid control is so pivotal. You can kind of just change from A to B so much easier than you can in a lot of other maps. Both points are much more viable in this mode, on this map and mode. So I feel like, I mean, we're going to have to see which team can manage that better. But like you're saying, that could play into Colorado's favor, where they don't have to worry about the kills so much if they manage the map better, if they make better decisions like this one, where it's really a trick out of your sleeve to go straight to B off the rip. This could come off to be huge, or it could really come back to bite them.
Really smart play here. Zuri's able to find 1 elimination, then just get the hell out of Dodge. Wait for teammates to come through. Numbers are starting to still amount, though, for Colorado. Zuri finds a second elimination. Very patient play from both sides so far, but one more selective than the other, as there has yet to be an elimination in favor of Colorado. Beautiful recovery through the middle of the map for Long Beach. They cleanly wiped the field.
And that's huge. I mean, it was a big decision to make there. If you're Colorado, it's going to come back to bite now. But although every time you get that clean sweep, it seems like on this map, players spawn up at the other location so close. So they have this opportunity to get right onto A. They're going to find this first tick of progress. Zuri's going to get right behind this player who's not looking. Norte finally turning his head to find a couple kills. The second's going to be there. Progress continues. So after the bad start, this is a good answer for Colorado. Kind of get blessed with a close spawn. Now we see how the answer comes through here for Long Beach. They're going to try to pinch it together from a couple different locations. Jugs are going to regain control of Kitchen as kills get picked up over at A. This is a huge opening here. You capture A early.
And you've got Jugster, who's kind of watching to see where these respawns will be. Finds one elimination before falling. Afro quick to try to wrap around, flanking the flank, if you will. Finds one, which means that now Norte is completely off on his lonesome. Does go for one elimination. Won't find anything else beyond that. You got to be careful here if you're Colorado. The lives are not great for you. You've got lots of time, sure, but at a certain point, you can't just keep your ARs playing their lives inside and around Kitchen. You got to get some focus over towards the actual objective. Yeah,
and it's nice to have a player picking up kills near the spawn, kind of being that nuisance, but you really got to focus to the point as well, especially when the lives start to dwindle down. Now, the tick starts to come through. Big position for Apocalypse to regain basketball control. But how about the play out of Flamma? Very high IQ to make the pinch happen. He's going to find two. His teammates there to pick up some trades. That's exactly what Long Beach was looking for. They slow down anything that was maybe even a remnants of a push for Colorado as these lives continue to dwindle. It's really going to have to come all at once for Colorado Black.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, I mean, it's a day one flank. Everyone's seen that flank from Flamma more times than we care to count. It is one of those situations that for Colorado overall, sure, you're onto the B zone, but if you don't have any eliminations, you can't try to be focusing these stats. You have to be trying to watch this mid-wrap. There you go. Much better pickup. Leaves an opportunity here with the last 6 lives for Colorado to get back onto the point. Flamma, danger. He's going to find two stacked on top of themselves. He was down to a single bullet, somehow stays alive for the double, and that in its own self will likely lock down the first defensive round for Long Beach.
It looked like a good adjustment there, like you said, Alan, picking up the middle of the stairs, and oh no. No. Don't do that to end the round. A bit of embarrassment on top of it for really what was a dominant round of defense for Long Beach. They're going to win it by about 15 or so lives, which could end up to be huge if it goes to round 5. But the adjustments were starting to come through for Colorado Black. It was just too late in the round when the lives weren't there. Jugster, these are big plays in the back end. It just has to be kind of followed up by something else from his teammates. They were over at A. Couldn't rotate it over to B. Good job on defense, really, by Long Beach. Not only do they win it, but they win it very, very handily, so they're going to have a big life advantage if we go to round 5.
Still a lot left to be determined before we even get to that point of the conversation, maybe influencing the map overall. It's going to have to be on CSULB. Extended in-between round count. Gives us plenty of time to break down and potentially predict what the next round will look like. And I think largely for Colorado, you're just hoping that you could really grow some legs here defensively. You've got Apocalypse and Nerf really struggling to get things going from that offense.
Yeah, gonna need them to step up right now. Not only do you kind of lack in the kills department, but you have a lot of deaths. Jugster finds 3 off the start, including his nade. Zuri able to get in behind here and find a couple kills as well. Good defense to start for Colorado Black. These players, like we say, need to pick up some of this slack right now. Apocalypse holding things down by Zig. His teammates doing a good job over at A. Only one player home is Bolt at B. If he can get that kill, that'll be huge. But all of a sudden, off spawn, Jugster's going to be playing these kills. Huge stuff, continuing to be a nuisance as he has all series long. Slows things down for the time being as Long Beach look to break out.
And in Colorado, you're at a point where if one life equals 15 seconds of time off the clock, you're happy with that. Jugster off the respawn, coming down. Finding himself one, but not a second. Have to be careful here if you're Norte. Don't want to get too aggressive because there is still potential for Long Beach to stack this A zone, and that will occur with the spawn through driveway. Good first elimination from Nerf. That'll lead to an opportunity to try to contest this. Second tick of progress will be confirmed. And with the last gunfight being won by Flamma, that might be the entire zone. Apocalypse will wrap back around this, will catch Flamma, find elimination, and now can work on completing this third tick of progress with only 35 seconds to play.
Yeah, actually going to be a pretty big kill here for Apocalypse to slow this thing down at A, but he realizes, All these players are coming off spawn. They're probably coming right back to finish off this last tick of progress. Norte says, I'll come over and provide some reinforcements. He's going to find a kill of his own. Now, all of a sudden, here come Long Beach. They're going to get onto the point, finish that final stack. But you look at the life department, they're down by 7, so it's almost the reverse of what happened last round. They are going to get A, but you still don't have a lot to work with here when you go over to B. Afro, that's a huge kill. He's being that nuisance player, being out towards the spawns. He's going to hold things down by basketball, forcing these players for Colorado to make the play. Apocalypse does it. Now we kind of slow things down a little bit and see if Cal State can grab some map control.
And again, I feel like that's just kind of a misplay from Cal State Long Beach. You've got one player trying to play their life in basketball, but everyone else is pushing through A. So that means that Colorado is going to spawn right in front of the one player trying to play his life. You're really kind of leaving him out to dry. So Flama now trying to make a play, gets his way into Tiki, but gets overwhelmed. So Colorado now just have to kill off 3 lives. And again, we just kind of have to casually go back to the talking point that you left us with after round number 1. The life differential pretty much evened up, if not slightly tilted into the advantage of Colorado here, pending they clean up these last 2 kills easily.
Yeah, really, really good answer from what was a solid round from Long Beach, and they're putting me right in my place, saying, hold your horses there, Cambert. We still have a lot to show for as we get ready for these final 2 players to try to make something happen. It's going to not really be too easy with only 20 seconds left. First kill for Zuri. And this is, again, kind of playing into that round 5 if we get there. Every single kill is so important. But it was a really strong showing from Colorado Black. Although A gets captured in the end, they had the lives so heavily in their favor that it made B even that much easier to defend. It's going to tie things up at 1 apiece here. Both just going to play his life.
Okay, so the both offenses, if I were to frame them, get a little bit cute. It's one of those things that you just have to understand, I feel like, what is going to lead to a successful round. And when you're down 6, 7, 8 lives with a minute and a half to play, you're not going to win the round off of the lives. It's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to eliminate that much of a differential and then whatever else is banked up to win the round overall. So you have to be making a play for the objective. And let's be honest, for both of these teams, they've snowballed or steamrolled through a lot of the competition they faced so far. So that may have been a win condition in the past. But once you start finding yourself in these higher level games, you need to understand that when you're down 6 lives, making a play through the A zone around the back for kills just isn't worthwhile at all.
Yeah, you make a great point, and I think sometimes too, like when you're pushing up into those positions, you might think you're doing a good job at finding kills off spawners, but like we saw, you're not realizing, you're not thinking about so much the influence you're putting on the spawns, and it can be hurting your teammates over by the point because the enemies are spawning so close to them now. It really can be a double-edged sword as we go into the next set of offenses here for Colorado Black. It's going to be a couple huge kills at A to start off this progress. It's really going to have to be a quick answer if Long Beach want to see this one not get captured right away, but somebody already over at B. They're having to change their attention to 2 different points. This is a huge start here from Colorado.
Flama falls. CSULB essentially have to give up any play for A simply because Norte was making that solo play as mentioned towards the B zone. So now an opportunity with the Buffaloes with a small life advantage to really work the middle of the map as they already have Jugster playing through Kitchen. He has an opportunity maybe for more. Afro staying alive, trying to finesse Apocalypse. Will get the win. Teammates there to clean up the action on the extremities. Nerf trying to keep the play through Kitchen alive, but even with the elimination, he's by himself.
Yeah, these teams have such a hard time stringing the points together. What I do think is going to help Colorado here is how early in this round they're able to grab A. Going to have a lot more time to work with as the kill's starting to come through for them. Nerf going to push up here into the cutout. And again, this is that situation where you got to wonder, do you play the map control or do you get onto the point? Right now, it's a good job to play the map control because his team is stacking, but the kill's starting to come through for Long Beach. They're getting back onto the point, slowing things down for now. The first tick of progress doesn't come through. Huge answer here as it felt like Colorado started to close in on the point. Long Beach swoop in to make the defensive play.
This is one of those times that you're okay essentially playing around lives, minute 30 plus still to play with. Apocalypse is working in the middle of the map by Kitchen essentially by himself. Gets information on Desuri, but that information is mutual. Both of them will try to peg one another with the Semtexes. Those will miss. Norte over by B, able to find one elimination, and you keep your eye on Jugster. He's all the way around the back. He's going to find one elimination. That'll open up some space. It also should force Long Beach to spawn by Laundry. This is the best opportunity for the Buffaloes to get out of the B zone and actually get some progress. But you have to clear these players out by money. Nobody wants to go. Eventually, Long Beach taking a challenge. They get one eliminated. Nerf running out of ammunition is able to find the first of the pistol he goes. But Afro keeps things interesting. And even though a tick of progress will be given away, Long Beach can still play through the middle of the map to try to recover this.
Yeah, this is such an important position to hold. That money room is really key right now. These kills continuing to come through for Long Beach. Is the flank again from Flamma. You thought you might learn about it if you're Colorado Black. They still haven't, and that second tick of progress was so close. It doesn't happen, so you're back to square one. Got to make a decision. How do we want to make this happen? Couple players here pushing up towards Kitchen. 3 in mid right now. The other player trying to make something happen on the other end is going to fall. That's Norte. Jugster go down as well. Kitchen's not going to happen. All these players getting cleaned up. Long Beach continue to hold strong. Is Nerf the last one alive here as these players come off spawn?
Really good recollection here from Long Beach. Them staying alive in money is more important than I've got time to say words on. Norte sees Zuri. Good help from beyond. 25 seconds. Last attempt for the Buffaloes is going to be a long one. And Afro will read that the majority of this play will be coming to the middle of the map. Nerf trying to find trades, but Zuri has done well to stay alive. And the entire time, Flamma's just sitting up top bedroom. He's got turned down service. He's putting mints on pillows. Doesn't seem to make too much of a difference. And there will not be enough time for Colorado to make a play happen here in the late stages. And again, look at the life count.
It again comes down to capturing B. It is the more difficult of the two situations to be in. But neither team able to do it. That time, a lot more time to work with for Colorado Black, but Long Beach able to hold strong. Flamma continues to work these open steps and find kills. It's been huge for a team. And then once you get into that pool mansion, even though it didn't end up making a difference, it is such a power position to be in as well. Really good job by Long Beach at managing those power positions overall. They held down money room as well. Really good stuff. It's now closeout round here for Long Beach. Still, it's going to be defense for Colorado Black. Can one of these teams capture B? Seems to be the big question marks surrounding this one.
And a lot of it, I think, has just been map manipulation hasn't been where you need it to be to capture that B site. And I don't mean to harp on it too much, but that's the difference that you're seeing, you know, with CDL squads overall. How are they finding success? They're understanding what exactly needs to go right. It's not just watching the flank. It's knowing when you need to watch it versus when can you give it up and actually stack. There's a lot of conversations we could go down. But how about this? The old Paris Legion strat. Just take it right down B Street. See if you can get there and just get some progress. But look at the long, quick flank from Jugster. He's actually going to get red, most likely off spawn here. But it won't take too much of a difference. He stays alive, and LB's push has been quelled from the front. Jugster doing more than just staying alive, finds himself a second. Does he read Zuri down low? Maybe an opportunity to now, and oh my goodness, the finesse is incredible, but Zuri is just barely equal to the task to find the shutdown.
Yeah, that's a big kill to get onto Jugster because he has been such a problem for Long Beach, especially in control when you're that sub player. You really can get up there and have some freedom. Is all of a sudden the B push doesn't work. Got to get over to A. The spawn going to be there. Only one player working it though. He's going to fall to Nerf. Zuri able to get his trade. All of a sudden, 25-22. Long Beach has to make a decision where they want to go. It seems like they're headed back to B. Only one player home to make the defense. These three players should be able to flood on through. Zuri, a big kill in Kitchen. He's going to try to hang on to this control. And these players are going to stack the point.
5 kills for Zuri. Threatening for streaks potentially. Colorado needs to get this elimination in money. They have to. But Zuri's just continuing to dance with them. Waltzing, polka, whatever. Quick step. Doesn't make much of a difference. He's able to find a couple eliminations, but Nerf is able to get there just in time to stop the... Oh, no, actually, it was the second tick of progress that came through, but not enough to extend the clock. Down to 23 seconds to play. Long Beach essentially have to go on to the B zone. Nerf, again, still equal to the task, and coming from the middle of the map, Apocalypse can read how many more members want to make this dash. Last attempt for Long Beach comes through now. Flamma falls. Opportunity for Jugster to work around the back. He finds another elimination, and Cal State Long Beach will not get an offense. It just comes down to the manipulation of the lives right now because it's going to be close. A 10 life differential to close out this one. I'm hesitant to make a call as far as who starts on defense here.
Yeah, I'm not going to make a call. I have no clue, but it's really just been back and forth. Strong defenses. That's what's making this call so tough. Both teams have won it by a wide margin. That time, the spawn manipulation kind of comes back to bite Long Beach. They keep spawning at the wrong site. They're unable to get any progress to either one, and it's going to be them.
Wow.
So, all of a sudden here, Colorado Black in a big spot to win this one.
It's so close. I mean, the life count, it had to have been 1, maybe 2. So throw away everything you know, reset it. It comes down to a single round. No streaks to play with for anybody. It's just down to can Long Beach find a way to capture the B zone. That's where both teams have been empty, but doesn't matter what Colorado was empty on before this. It all comes down to the 5th round. 4-man hit through middle. what are you going to do with this is the real question. I mean, you've got, cool, great job. You just took the 5th hard point, but we're playing control.
There's nothing to capture here in the middle of the map. Afro finally going to make a decision and push on into Kitchen, able to find a couple kills as his teammates show some support. 3 players going to get onto B. The long spawn, like you talk about, forced out by Laundry. This is a big opportunity as the time starts to fly away. Colorado, realizing the importance that they're in right now, have to get over there. Second tick comes through. Jugster trying to make the pinch happen. Teammate here is with him. 2 kills there, the third. Everybody trading it out.
Whoa.
He's going to find 3. Huge defense there as Jugster finds himself on a 6-kill streak.
Big decision to be made here for Colorado because you have the potential of streaks coming out, and you have to remember that Long Beach just full spawned over by A. They're going to have to chalk the A zone completely unless Dorte can do something incredible. He finds 2, but Nerf can't find anything else. Apocalypse was just trying to play for exits. He wanted to come back to help, but it's just a little bit too late. So 60 seconds on the clock in Long Beach. They have 1 minute and 52 to find a single tick of progress on B. It just comes down to Kid Jugster or Streaks. He's able to get the artillery, but nothing beyond it.
That could come in huge as this last tick of progress is all Long Beach need. Bolt gonna get on the point, finally naded off. The streak's coming through right now from Jugster. See if he can get anybody with that. He does get 1. Nerf gonna find another, and now Norte trying to hold down the push from Pool Mansion. He knows the spawn's coming through there. You got to pay attention to number 6 for Long Beach and Zuri, who could make a pinch happen on the other end. Both teams trying to make a decision how they want to make this happen. When does Zuri make his move? He is able to find the first kill onto Apocalypse.
But he's not going to be pushed far enough forward to force the Colorado spawns out. Colorado is completely bunkered down. They find 1 kill from the front. Zuri falls in the back. Everything turns to the front now. Oh my goodness. Is it really going to come down to this? Afro was able to earn streaks earlier. He uses them here, finds 1 elimination. But the buffs are still holding strong. Nerf mid-map. Not going to find anything, but on the point itself, Colorado still holding strong. Zuri from the money window. Such an important spot, finds 1. Wants to get a second off spawn, but has to play his life. His teammates, though, from the respawn under his bedroom, they can stack this. Zuri for 2. That will be enough. Cal State Long Beach in round 5. Finally grab the B zone. They'll go up 2 maps to 1.
Couldn't have been any closer than that. It really feels like that spawn where you send 4 players to B, everybody dies. So what happens? You spawn right up on A. The 4 stack comes through. You're able to capture that. And then again, you have to go back to B, but you already had 2 ticks of progress from the start of the round. That's enough for Long Beach to get it done. Really good effort from Colorado Black in those final moments. Jugster gets the streaks. They're just not enough to push him to the victory. And for Long Beach, feels like that composure they've had all season long paying off in those moments. You're right, Alan, and you have to wonder if they're so used to playing the spawn kills. Are they ready to get on the point finally there in that last round? It all comes together and they get it done. Now, really feels like they're threatening to win it in this next hard point.
It's going to be a raid hard point. And one of the big keys, just to go back to what we mentioned at the top of this series, Colorado winning that first map, massive. By far the best mode for Cal State Long Beach has been the hard point so far. So for them to strike first in the series was so crucial. But not being able to take the search, not being able to take the control, will that bite them in the butt? Because now you've got to beat Long Beach, not just on one hard point. You have to win a second one somewhere, and it's going to have to come down to raid. Other little fun fact overall, just to kind of mention it, Colorado Black, out of the 15 controls or 14 controls they've played, 12 of them were on raid. So not great that you lost that one, but going to the hard point, they are 5-0 in this map as well. So, I mean, again, favorable stats really, no matter which way you slice it.
Yeah, and it's going to come down to the rotations and the slaying like we were talking about in map 1. Long Beach outslayed the Boulder or Colorado Black, but it didn't really matter. Colorado was kind of managing the map better, rotating better. They were getting on the objective more. I don't feel like in raid that strategy is going to work as well. I mean, really just a lot more slaying that comes into it. Again, it is a rotation-heavy map, but you just have to feel like everything is in favor of Long Beach right now. Although they lose the first hard point, they fall back on maybe their 2 not best modes. They're able to pick up those. Now it goes to hard point again. You have to feel like you got them right where you want them. This is the closeout map in your go-to game mode. Raid, probably one of your most experienced maps as well. This feels like everything points towards Long Beach in this.
And you have to keep in mind that a map like Moscow, if you're not winning the kills, there's still so much map to play with to win the rotation, right? That doesn't exist on raid. If you're losing gunfights, you're losing the rotation. There are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You're going to lose that rotation. So one of the big keys that we talked about for Long Beach is the fact that they were, throughout the majority, if not the entirety of that Moscow hardpoint, outslaying Colorado. If that were to happen again, I think you're right. I think you favor that Long Beach should be able to take that and make it more into an advantageous situation much faster than like on a map like Moscow, for instance. So really kind of take this narrative that you want, either for Long Beach, keep dominating in the kill feed, turn that into instant success, or on the other front for Colorado, got to find a way to step up in a major way here.
Yeah, it's just so much more of a predictable map as well. It really feels like for Long Beach, a team with so much. I mean, both teams are undefeated. Like, don't get me wrong, Colorado Black has just as much a stakehold in this game as Long Beach does. But just like we talk about, the margin of victory for Long Beach has been so much stronger. It just really feels like Raid is like, this is your playground. This is exactly where you want it to be in a closeout. If you're Cal State, you got it where you want it. How do you make things happen now as we jump into the map? It will be a closeout situation here for Long Beach. Colorado Black, got to draw on, I guess, what happened in map 1, but you're also going to need a little bit more slaying power. You can't just get on the hill because Long Beach are going to kill you.
And a bit of blessed news here, the fact that we can get into this map 4 without having the teams go back and update their game to like a 30 gig update or something of the nature. That would have been really interesting to see, like, okay, well, what happens to the weapon man, too? But off the rip, you talk about just the fact that Long Beach, so dominant in the kill feed, that pays out in a major way. They've already put the spawns around, and Bolt is on 4 in a row. Hot start for the boys from California.
Yeah, could be an opportunity to grab streaks in the first hills. They're able to flip the spawns already, too. This is just huge right now for Long Beach. They're turning this into a money hill with the slaying power again. It just really feels like so much more comfortable of a map. I mean, sure, everybody plays Moscow a lot, but Raid is really everybody's favorite. And right now, 35 straight seconds. They're going to have the rotations to kitchen in check. Colorado forced to try to push through mid. 2 players going to get cut down by Afro. Sure, Nerf's going to get away with his life, but these players know where he is. Bolt's ready to check for it. He gets that kill as well. It's a runaway train right now for Cal State.
Hit from the front, full forced for Colorado. Bolt is already considering a pinch. He'll find 1, he'll get 2. That's enough. I mean, you really can't do too much here if you're Apocalypse. He's going to try to get cute by going back and forth, and as he tries to commit by himself into the brute force of Long Beach, he will fall. Now it's going to be Jugster around the back. Nobody's watching this here, Long Beach, so there's an opening kill. Potential to pinch to get inside the hard point, but similarly, Bolt does the exact same thing from the opposite side. Leaves things just down to Jugster. He drops in Cal State Long Beach all over this Raid hardpoint so far, 80-1.
And it's a risky play from Jugster there because maybe it makes a break happen, but instead it actually forces your team into those spawns at the backside of kitchen. Now they have to try to make this even longer trek to the next hill. It just sets up Long Beach in a better position to rotate. They are going to be there by the garage. Bolt is so tough to kill right now, 12-2 on the point. Finally going to go down, but again, the rotation's going to be here for Long Beach. Colorado Black almost just shot themselves in the foot there with Jugster making that last second flank.
Gotta slow things down here for Colorado. Get a setup. Get a good look at a break attempt. It feels like everything's kind of come off the rails just a touch. Here's a good opportunity. With Apocalypse blocking the favorable AC spawns, numbers for Colorado will be here, but there are no kills to speak of. Just Nerf and Jugster for a couple, but that's not going to be enough for a break. As soon as LB hold, they essentially spawn right back up in place, and now it's 120-4, and Colorado are chalking 25 seconds. That does not feel good.
No, Long Beach isn't just trying to win this one right now. They're trying to embarrass them in the final stages here, and they're doing exactly that so far. Incredible stuff. I mean, 4 points right now for Colorado Black. Look at the killing department. Norte only has 1. Apocalypse has 2. It really, again, it was like this was exactly what Long Beach were looking for. Their eyes had to light up knowing that it was 2 games in their favor. They had 1 more to win, and it was Raid hardpoint. Finally, Colorado able to get onto the point. They're going to get this rotation down. How long can they hold on to it? These players have to push across pool. There's going to be a couple in the back near Laundry. Zuri is going to be in a big spot here as he finds that kill.
Pinch setup already for Long Beach. Split spawn situation. Apocalypse spawns up in jungle. Finds one that's actually not bad whatsoever, but now chaos ensues. Long Beach will have the proximal spawns for this pinch play to come through. Flama finds one from the front and the second. Oh, man. I was about to say for Colorado, not only do you have to hold this for essentially a perfect full 60, you're going to have to win the 5th hard point and the 1st, and probably the 2nd beyond that. now it might just be too far gone. Cal State Long Beach already up 140 and counting towards more than that as they will soak up this scrap time.
Yeah, I think you said it. It might be too far gone at this point. This is just so much to come back from. Okay, you got the rotation now to P5. What can you do with it? It's got to be a complete change from the way this match has started for Colorado Black. Almost 200 points in the first set of rotations. We still have one hill to go in the first set of rotations for Cal State. This is just ridiculous stuff. Really proving why I guess they're the better team right now. Both undefeated coming into this, but they're really trying to prove a point right now.
Gotta recover for Colorado right here. Get a good break attempt. Get a clean kill feed. There's one on Missouri. Afro able to keep things dicey on the point for two. Apocalypse was forced to go to the sidearm, and he falls, but Norte, we said it a lot in Moscow, he's the last one to survive, keeping the play somewhat at bay. But here come the reinforcements for Long Beach. Already at the double century mark. Flama holding on to the trigger will fall. So an opportunity here for Colorado to give above 50 points, but that's, I'm trying to find a way to spit sunshine into their buttholes right now because it's 200 to 50.
Yeah, it's not so easy to do. And I mean, Cal State are a well-oiled machine on raid right here. You got Bolt up top, watching over P5 from the top of ring. That now he's setting himself up to be rotated for P1. This one's not going to make it much further than a second set of rotations here. Is already over 210 points. Go Cal State. They can close it out here on P1 if they want to, and it feels like they do. Missouri finds 2 more kills. Colorado Black back against the wall if you want to extend this game. Got to make something happen here. Missouri starts to find another streak. He's on 5. Very close to the finish line here if you're Cal State.
Not good for Buffaloes. Not good at all. 230 potential to win the game on the first hard point of the second rotation. That's still a potential to happen, by the way. Afro on 4, looking for number 5, has it, 21 and 11. There will be enough contest to see another hard point, but honestly, I don't know if you want to if you're Colorado at this point.
Yeah, they're probably... I mean, they're going to fight for it, and they want to see it, but it's really just not going to matter so much in the end. Just a dominant performance from Long Beach. Final 5 seconds as Norte tries to make something happen in the final moments. He goes down. Clean kills from Missouri. 3 more.
Wow.
And Colorado State of Long Beach are going to win this one 250 to 49. Not just a 100-point club, a 50-point club in the final map there. Really flipped the switch and proved why they're the better team. They maintain the undefeated streak so far this year, and Colorado Black take their first loss.
I'll say this much. Look, we said it at the beginning, and I'll say, you know, we should pat ourselves in the back here. Colorado was always going to have a problem getting into the hard point versus this LB squad. Long Beach, that's been their, I mean, 170 points on average is what they're winning by when it comes to what they've done so far in the CCL. So the fact that Colorado wins the first map is incredible. The problem is they did not have the recovery they needed in the search and destroy, and they weren't able to put away the raid control. They needed to see this get to a second search and destroy in my mind, or put it away in 3. That was the only win conditions, because there's no way you're taking 2 hard points from CSULB. So that's probably what we came to expect. Maybe not necessarily at that tally, but Cal State Long Beach, our 6th overall squad in the CCL, proving why with that 50-point club that has put Colorado in.
Yeah, and I agree with you. They had to win a search and destroy to at least try to force it to map 5. That's not what they're able to do. And for Colorado State Long Beach, map 1, well, I think this just goes to show how important the map set really can be. Obviously, raid is where they like to be at. That's where they're most comfortable. They just put that on display. So I think it just favored Colorado Black to have Moscow as the first map. Like we talked about, there's more space to work with. You can play the objective more than the kills. When it comes to raid, everything's in the limelight right in front of you. There's nowhere to hide. And you saw that there as Long Beach continuing to pour it on with the slaying power, really, really showing why they're going to be a force to be reckoned with when we get to the playoffs. And I think that's exactly what they wanted to do. They do it on the biggest stage on the Alpha stream here. Unbelievable games. Give Colorado a lot of credit. They made it interesting, but in the end, Long Beach just too much to be a force to be reckoned with in the end.
Absolutely. And for those that vote in the top 25, I think Colorado's in the right spot. I mean, again, it's not a great loss right there. And that's going to resound, I think, over the rest of the series, which was very competitive all the way through. This is a very good Cal State Long Beach team. I mean, it's tough to see with number 6 next to them after what we just saw right there. But overall, you take a look at what happened out in the Pacific. That means that Long Beach, they will confirm the number 1 space coming out of the Pacific Division, going straight to playoffs. Colorado have locked in the number 2 spot. Really no chance, I would imagine, for Oregon to pass them whatsoever. Arizona State would be then, I believe, in 4th, unless Arizona made something happen over the last couple of games that they had. But an incredible night of games overall. And now the real kind of big key here is the fact that we need to make sure we remind all of you that are out there watching that that's the end of the regular season. Playoffs is going to be about a full week long. Not next week, Cam, but the week after. We go Monday and Tuesday for the regional qualifiers to determine our final teams to get into playoffs. And then Wednesday through Sunday. That's more days than I have fingers to count on how many CCL matches we're about to have. It's going to be an incredible time.
Oh, it's going to be unbelievable. And I've really felt it start to creep towards the playoffs. You can feel the competitive nature starting to come out of a lot of these teams. They're starting to find themselves, figure out what their identity is, what maps and modes they like. It's going to be really, really important. And above all else, you're playing for 25 big ones. I think that has to be a lot driving you. I can't wait for it, Alan. I mean, it's been great. The regular season has been great. Don't get me wrong. A lot of competitiveness coming out of every team. But once it gets to the playoffs, everything is on the table. It's all about picking up the wins by any means necessary. And we're going to see that from a lot of these teams. Looking forward to it, no doubt.
And before you started counting on your fingers, it's actually as many days as you have fingers on a hand. So it's 5. It's 5 days. For some reason, I thought it was 6. I don't know. Math is not my strong suit. But that shuts the book over on the regular season overall for the CCL. We will have tomorrow. Again, I should probably mention that. That shuts the book on these divisions. We still have tomorrow to go through. So make sure you're back tomorrow for more action in some of the other regions. But for these squads, it's all about planning for playoffs now. But for the evening, we say farewell. We'll catch you right back here tomorrow at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time for a couple of more matches before we officially shut the book on everything CCL regular season. But until that point, hope you keep pulling it down. So long.